big project. Last year we completed the climbing line. It takes us almost up to the BC provincial parks border, and that, in case you're gonna wonder why the climbing trail ends where it ends, that's the reason. We didn't get permission to build within BC parks. I'm hoping that's gonna change in the future and we are able to build a connector from the end of the climbing trail up to the start of the DH trail. It would only make sense if we build up to a ridge line. It just doesn't make sense to follow the road and build bench cut all the way, but you'll get to check that out if you haven't seen it yet.
Don't need me.
You're the girl who's going to sing for us tonight, right? Adele? Right? We heard about you. It was in the brochure. Right on.
I'm gonna disappoint.
Wait and close it.
Is it didn't do any warm-up stretches?
What's that?
I didn't do any warm-ups, you know?
I think the warm-up was plugging.
There you go. Some hip flexor stretches.
My warm-up was plugging the e-bike in and making sure it was fully charged.
Can I get you guys to come a little bit closer? That would be awesome. Kukpi Adams doesn't have to yell. Thanks everyone for coming. What an amazing turnout. We've been waiting for this for a couple of years. We've been working here the last 3 years. For obvious reasons, we couldn't have any trail openings for either the downhill trail or the climbing trail that Ian built with his crew. So yeah, thanks for being patient. Thanks for coming out here today. Couple people I really need to mention. We have Dora here. Dora and myself, we've been working together for many years. Dora was the band manager at Kukpi7 First Nation. You all know that place. And we started working on trail development at Soda Creek 7-8 years ago, and then Dora moved back to her home community. Well, I guess you always lived here, but you took the position here for the Economic Development Corporation as XFN, and we've been talking trails for many years. We were looking for funding for a trail study, but we found funding for trail construction first, and Dora really helped to get this project off the ground. She found the first grant money to get the downhill trail built. So thanks, Dora, for that, and thank you to
I thought it was somebody yelling. Cheers.
Life's going for the dogs.
So I also absolutely need to thank Rec Sites and Trails. We've got Jamie here. She spent time out here with me when we originally laid the downhill trail out. Ian laid it out. Jamie and myself, we hiked it with Ian. We got approval from Rec Sites and Trails. We had nothing but positive input and help from Rec Sites and Trails in terms of getting funding together. Rec Sites and Trails in really short time came up with some money for the connector trail. This just happened within the last month. It's absolutely spectacular. Yesterday you put up some signage on the trail network, so thanks so much for that. I think that's a really good partnership between the indigenous community, Rec Sites and Trails, and us trail builders. So that was really good. Who am I forgetting? I don't know. Is there? Of course, Ian and the trail crew, Ian, Sky, and many other builders basically lived out at Big Bar the last 2 summers. We had a lot of help from community members through the Indigenous Youth Mountain Bike Program. We trained local trail builders who worked all summer on the climbing trail. You get to see the climbing trail. It was a huge project. It's bench cut kilometer after kilometer. It was hard manual labor while there were forest fires all around us. We had the heat dome, we had flood events, so it was tough building the last couple of years. So thanks to Ian and the trail crew. Thanks to everyone else who supported us, the Williams Lake Cycling Club, the Caribou Mountain Bike Consortium. I also got to give a shout out to Shreddy and Steve Law. Those two know the area really, really well and had a vision of mountain bike trails on this mountain for years and years. Probably no one knows this area better than Steve from 100 Mile Community Forester. So yeah, he really knows this area. So thanks for your help and support. The 100 Mile House Cycling Club supported both grants that we got to build these trails here. So that was fantastic, and we need the support to find money for these type of projects. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kukpi Adams. You're going to say a few words, and then we'll do the ribbon cutting ceremony.
Just part of our protocol is we always get started with a prayer, and we usually call on one of our elders. So, Clara, would you come forward and bless the site, the trail, and lead us?
I haven't got power to bless the site, but I'll pray. Only one person that has the power.
Well, you're closer than me, so.
I think we're close to heaven right now here. Okay. Our Heavenly Father, I just praise and thank you for this beautiful area. I just thank you for the people that made this day possible. And I just ask that you bless each and every one of the people that are here. Bless this mountain, bless the trails, for safety, that no one will be hurt, that no fires will erupt in this area. Just ask that you keep us all in mind, in good health and healing. I ask this in your Son Jesus' name, amen.
I was trying to think of what to say while I was coming down here, so I sparked a conversation with my wife, and you know, trails are an important part of our history and our culture. You know, Nadine was saying, this is my wife right here in the gray sweater, and she was saying that you know, you just have to think about all of the things, you know, that we use, or you know, why trails are so important to us. So I was thinking about growing up and riding. You know, my dad, we would always go hunting horseback, so we were always on trails, and you know, and the horses knew the trails, so you know, my dad didn't need to steer the horse or anything. He just sat on his back and watched his head, and as soon as the horse's ears came up, my dad knew there was a moose or something. But we spend a lot of time on trails back in the day. You know, I grew up in the 60s and the 70s, so you know, there wasn't really many vehicles like in our communities back then. You know, maybe a few families had a car, but the majority were horses and wagons. So, you know, we grew up on backs of horses, a lot of us. And so, you know, trails were really important to get to, you know, spiritual sites such as this area here. A lot of our people would Jesmond there, that means vision quest. So a lot of the mountain tops or high areas were used for Jesmond, the vision quest. So, you know, those are, you know, spiritual places for us. So trails lead us to those areas, and is really important for us. You know, as talking about horses, you know, riding horses, it's no different from bikes. You know, you're riding down trails. You know, it's, you know, it really connects you to the land, and you know, there's a spiritual connection to the land as well when you're out in the bush and riding. It's quiet. It's, you know, it's good for your health, that's for sure. And it's probably a little better if you're riding a bike and you're pedaling or going downhill. You know, get your heart pumping. So. you know, trails are important. You know, like if you look at the Williams case, the Chilcotin case, you know, they won, you know, their court case, you know, based on trails. You know, the courts or the governments are saying that, you know, trails led to certain places, but it was only this little area here, so it was only like a little postal style stamp, you know, place areas, and that's what they were trying to settle that court case on. But the Chilcotins are able to prove that, you know, all these networks were a system of importance to them to get to hunting grounds, to fishing grounds, to medicinal picking grounds, all of those different places. And so they were able to not just to have a trail here and little spot here, so they were able to connect all of that, and that's how they won their court case. So you can see the importance of trails to us. You know, for us as well, traditionally, like trails were used for trade, and so, you know, trading with different nations, you know, leads us to different communities, to families. It's all important. So, you know, I'm glad to be here today. You know, I'm trying to organize myself between here and the Shuswap gathering. All of our nation is gathering over on Horsefly today. So every year we used to have gatherings. Now they've changed it to seasonal gatherings. So today, this week, is the summer gathering. So after I'm done here, I have to rush over there and join in the festivities over there. So, and the trail's gonna take me there. So I'll.
It's Horse Lake, not Horsefly.
Oh, Horse Lake, yeah, it's Horse Lake. So anyway, I'll introduce Dora. I've worked with Dora for a number of years over the course of my sort of tenure, I guess, working with our community. I was the chief when Dora was the band administrator. More or less her and Scott Cousins and some of the other people were responsible for creating our economic development arm, and that's who takes care of our ranch here, our guest ranch, our economic development corporation, and Dora was, you know, responsible for developing and getting that up and running. So, you know, we have a lot of history together, and so I'll turn it over to Dora, and Dora can say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming out here today. I was looking forward to this for a long time. Like Thomas was saying, we've worked together before on mountain bike trails. And as our economic development arm, like Hank was saying, when we bought the ranch, and we were looking at what else can we add to this ranch to make it more viable for our community. And I contacted Thomas and I asked him, you want to work with me on looking at some mountain bike trails for the ranch? So got together a proposal, put it into the province of BC through the Ministry of Social Development. They were the first funders for our first trail here, and we had 4 or 5 young people on that building the first trail. And to me, that's perseverance in always having to look for funding. As probably a lot of you know, it's pretty competitive out there. And our next dream was to look at a master plan for mountain bike trails, and so that has come to fruition also this year. Thomas has company, we hired them as consultants to do our master plan. And part of that is looking at our neighboring nations and how can we connect trails through our Secwepemc territory. And that's a dream of mine to see something like that come true. And today is one of the footstones to get there. And I'm glad to see all of you coming out today for our grand opening book jam.
Before we do the ribbon cutting, can I get you to teach us one word in Jesmond? We have on our mind while we ride up the trail. You wanna give us one word that we can all learn today in your language?
What word should we use?
Everybody's looking at me. Where's all the elders? Quickly.
I have a suggestion.
Well,
Maybe
I don't know.
thanks.
What kind of word do you want?
Like thank you.
Kukpi7. And then if you want to address a big group, I'll Kukpi7, meaning that includes everybody. And just for one person, I'd say Kukpi7, thank you to me. And the Kukpi7 means thank you to all of us.
Kukpi7.
Yeah, all of you, thank you to all of us.
Great.
The group one, Mom.
The group one?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Meaning thank you.
Right.
Like I say from my nation, it's post of noon.
I wonder if I could get all of the elders.
You can say it's
Yeah.
post of noon. It's post of noon. It's post of noon.
All of our
Carol. So my boys,
Come on.
my boys all know Samaj really well.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we will have this happening in our territory.
Right.
Oh yeah, you're from Jesmond.
All right.
Yeah, all right. Just cut it.
Just cut it. Yeah. Awesome.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Great. Well, have an amazing day. Have a good ride, guys.